So it's a great pleasure to meet the heroes and villains of the show.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, villains, what makes one guy wake up in the morning and say, okay, just fuck it, I'll just become a villain and burn the world down?
I don't think he does that. I know you are talking about Lawrence Bancroft.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens to a normal guy who does that, but I don't think he does that, and I don't think he, whenever you ask an actor about whether they like being villains or not, really they should be batting for their character and saying and justifying who they are. He doesn't see himself as a villain. Hitler didn't see himself as a villain.
Of course.
So they think they're doing good. They think they're doing.
They think they're saving the world.
They think they're
Is
saving
he?
the world. I think he probably has a lot of charitable foundations, like a lot of the wealthy people in the world do, and he thinks that by supporting those charitable foundations, he's doing his bit.
Yeah, in his own universe, he's doing good, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, who's your favorite Bond villain then?
I always like the older ones, the Blofelds. I like the Donald Pleasants.
Yeah,
Those are my favorite ones. I'm not so fond of the modern ones.
but they have
I mean, if
some
there's
good
one
ones.
actor who should be a Bond villain, Simon Russell Beale. Have you ever seen him as an actor? You probably have. Have you seen Death of Stalin?
Yeah.
He plays Beria.
Okay.
Now, if he is not a Bond villain, something goes terribly wrong.
They should maybe shut down the franchise.
Yes, exactly.
Alright, then there's heroes as well. So, what actually makes a lot of people to a point of uprising? When is enough is enough?
I think things have to go terribly wrong. We were contemplating that the other day. There is a value to evil hitting a tenor, and that is good people have to wake up and stop doing nothing. It ignites, something in regular people even to get up and to do something.
It would be very hard now to have an uprising.
Why?
Because the power of the state is so strong, the tools of the state are so strong. It's not like 1918 in Russia where you just had rifles. They've got tanks, they've got
bigger rifles.
water, they have bigger weapons. They have protective clothing, all of that stuff. It's hard. It would be very hard to have a revolution in the United States now.
Well, everything is money.
So you have to be prepared to
Everything is
die
money.
for it. I think that's the big
absolutely
thing.
you have to be prepared to die for it. And when things get that bad, people are.
Dying,
People did, people do, people will, and people are dying.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah. So it's just a question of, do you care? Is it you? Is it your children? So
Do you care enough?
Do you care enough? Is it your children? I think that's what Cal represents in this world, and that's what the envoys represent. And it's interesting because when you first see them in this series, they are written as terrorists. Because it's all
It's
about
always
the
like that in
perspective. It's
history
always
as
the
well.
perspective, yeah. And I
Because
think
the victors write history.
because the victors write history, and so we have to just be mindful, I think, of what would we die for, is there anything, as Martin Luther King said, is there anything worth dying for to you?
And which uprising would you actually prefer? I mean, since we're in Paris, Bastille or maybe Gandhi's civil obedience?
I prefer Gandhi's.
I do too.
But if that doesn't work, we'll have the Bastille.
What if you guys were in yourselves' shoes and trying to defeat each other, since you will know each other's strengths and weaknesses? How would that work out?
Oh, so what if I was her and she was me?
Yeah.
Trying to defeat each other.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, it seems that
There would be quite a battle.
yeah.
I think they're both super smart and they both know how to read people very well. So, it'd be very evenly matched, I think.
Yeah.
If they were alone in a room together,
Oh, she'd whip my
pretty
ass.
sure I'd kick his ass.
She'd definitely kick my ass, without a doubt.
But I'd have to get up that tower.
Yeah, but you'd be so easy to kick his ass.
Alright, the last one is a funny one. Speaking of heroes and villains, which actually Beach Boys song is your favorite one?
Ah, there you go. Vibrations, Good Vibrations is a great song, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm born in California.
Oh, California,
So
good.
I wish they all could be California.
Okay,
girls.
we're having good vibrations now. then.
Yes.
Alright, thank
I
you so
wish
much for
they
everything.
all could be California.
Thank you.
Alright, have a good
Take
one.
care. Thank
and,
you very much.
Good luck with everything.